What artists did you grow with? Like you saw their content change that you grew up with. The way that these young fans will grow with Sexy Red eventually to change.
Man, imagine that being
as far as rap
to grow with.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a female rapper, but what artists did you see that you like grew with them?
Big Daddy is crazy.
Listen, man, Thug Holiday to me is a gospel song.
Did you grow with Lloyd?
I'm assuming
did you
that
grow with Lloyd Banks, Rory?
You grew with Jay. No?
Yeah,
Well, Jay was always older than me,
You
but
grew up with Jay. That's different.
But-
but he's older than me. That's not. That's,
But your
that's a
music,
difference.
you grew as Jay's music grew. You haven't hit 444 yet.
Well, the thing about the thing about Jay that's different.
He's still at
is,
Blueprint 3?
The thing about Jay that's different
technology.
is Jay uses his music to talk about his lifestyle and his growth, and hopefully his audience attaches to that and they grow as well. Which is why his 444 album, he was saying things on there that people was like, damn, like one day you're gonna have to grow up, you're gonna have to do shit, move like this. It's like that's what Jay does. When he gives you music now, he's speaking directly from his experience, his growth, the things that he's into, the things that he's learning. But not every artist has that ability. And that's I think what Jay's magic is. People look forward to learning about what's the new thing or what's like what are the like now niggas want to know, yo, Joe, why are you getting up every morning walking with these billionaires? What the fuck y'all just walking around y'all neighborhood doing? Like that's like a thing now.
They know what he doing. He's walking. He old. He need to move his joints.
No.
It's a walking
Them
club.
niggas ain't them niggas. If you think them niggas is just walking, you got life fucked up.
Obviously,
You don't
they're
have
talking.
4 billionaires just walking in the morning and think that them niggas is just exercising.
Well, obviously,
You don't think him and Jack
they're
were fishing on that
talking.
boat?
Fuck no.
Obviously, they're talking and having conversations, but they're like, that's what older people do. Yes, he's walking with billionaires because those are the people who live in his neighborhood. So yeah, that's who he's walking with in his walking club.
Yeah,
and
but
they
we're
have
talking about-
similar
but
interests and things
I'm just
to
talking
discuss.
about the growth, and he's like the person that you look to. Like, okay, when I'm 52, 53, that's what I have to look forward to doing. Like getting up and walking with my neighbors around the neighborhood. You got to remember, this is a dude from Brooklyn that sold crack in the projects. Like we've seen his story unfold to where he is now. In our culture, we've never seen nothing like that. Not from selling crack in the projects to that. We've never seen that before. So the Jay is the one that people look at and say, that's a cool way to grow old. Like if you can, because we all want to grow old. Growing old is the coolest shit in the world. Nobody wants to fucking die young. That's a waste of life, a waste of talent. Growing old, but still being cool is the goal. At least to myself. Let me speak for myself. I don't know about others, but I want to grow old, but I also want to still be cool. I don't want to be wearing sandals with linen shorts at the cookout. I don't want to be doing that.
I've seen Jay in sandals and linen shorts.
Like, how you the king of New York with Sean Cletus on?
On the
It's
beach?
a reference that y'all don't even...
On the beach?
Cool. Never mind.
You want to wear Tim's on the beach?
No, it's when, you don't remember when Cam went on Hot
Yeah.
97 and screamed that?
I never understood that then. I'm like, yo, he's on a beach. He's insane.
He's with his wife.
He's insane.
What you wear to the beach?
Like, would you want to wear some Air Ones on the beach?
Hove is older than you. I guess I really meant someone that was closer to your age. Like, I can say Kendrick and Cole, I've grown with. Like, I was 20 when they came out, 19 when they came out. And like, I've hit the same life pillars the same way they did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we grew together. In the music, I can hear it too.
Yeah.
From some of the more the party shit to more of the
introspective.
understanding yourself and realizing what have I been doing for the last 10 years type of thing. Do you have artists like that? I felt that way about Drake for a long time. I think his content shifted a bit and he's actually regressed in that, but who cares? That's his journey. Do you have that with your age group of an artist that you really sat with?
It's always a little older. But I think that's dope too, because for me personally, I always hung out with people that were a little older than me. Like I never really hung out with too many people that were my age or too many people that was that much younger than me. It was always a lot of older. I was always around a lot of older cats.
Yeah.
But I had, obviously my friends that were, closer to my age, but I always made sure I kept some older people around me. I always had conversations with older people because again, they saw what we haven't seen yet. They've experienced these things. They know what's happening. They know exactly where I'm at right now, what I'm going through, the thoughts I'm having, the emotions, the battles mentally. But they also can tell you, okay, yeah, I had that. This is how you maneuver around that. This is how you get over that. You know, find the thing that you're passionate about. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about what other people got going on. Focus on. You need those conversations. And I think for me, Jay is probably the only rapper that I remember listening to when I was very young in high school that I probably still listen to now and really pay attention to exactly what he's saying, because again, we're watching it unfold. We're watching him reach these heights and these pinnacles in personal life and business, musically, getting all these accolades. It's like we saw it throughout the 25 years, 30 years. So, I mean, for me, that's the only one that I look at and I pay close attention to. Other rappers I listen to, but I'm not looking for those things.
I feel blessed for my age, because your generation, unfortunately, it wasn't like super cool to talk about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of love that I got the generation, i.e. Cole, Kendrick, that world, of being vulnerable in your music and that being okay. And then all my favorite rappers that were older, i.e. Nas and Jay, when I started to get older, they finally were like, you know what? I'm going to talk about every shitty thing I've done in my family's life.
At the Basquiat show.
Like, I think it's cool. I got the perfect time to go from my 20s to my 30s. Because the rappers my age were talking about the shit that I was going through. And then the guys that were 10 years older that I loved as a kid are now like, all right, here's Life is Good. Here's 444. Like, that shit became really cool to do when I was going from 29 to 30. Like, I think being born in 1990 to me has been the coolest thing when it comes to music.
The way in
I'm
which,
so happy that I was in this generation.
The way in which Pixar targeted us, like when we were kids, like our age group, that's how I felt with the way those movies would carry through my life. That's how I felt closely with, more so like directly to my age. It was like a year or two older than I was. Mac Miller was like, it could not have lined up better in terms of when Best Day Ever, Kids, Best Day Ever, like watching movies, Good AM, like all of those were dropping at such like specific parts of my life. And I feel like he was obviously living a very different lifestyle, but the experiences were mirroring each other throughout that whole journey. And obviously where it ended, I think he was heading in to that 444 era at 26. He was already in that like introspective, therapeutic phase in his career and his journey. And that music was so much deeper if you listen back to what Kids was. I mean, it's like light years difference. And if you really look at it down in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, because Kids was what, 2009?
Kids was 08 or 09.
And at that point too, I didn't have much life experience. I just love Lord Finesse samples.
Kids,
So like, no, like
2010.
Mac is actually a great example, even though I mean, I don't have the same connection Julian does with Mac, but I can appreciate this same thing. When I was 18, I just liked Lord Finesse shit.
Yeah.
And here was a kid rapping on that. And then you saw his career. Once you get to the Divine Feminine, I was 26. Like, life was starting to change a bit. So that is a good point. Mac is someone that mirrored me being 34 in the exact trajectory of where I would have taken things with music too. I'm gonna rap over old shit I love, and then, all right, now it's life experience.
Kids is about him literally graduating high school. Like, there's a line and he was like, oh yeah, like I graduated high school. Like, I graduated like that summer. It could not have been like a more direct mirroring of what was going on in my life.
I never had that with an artist growing up. I always listened to artists who were way older than me, and I couldn't really relate to the things that they were going through. I go back now and re-listen, and shit is amazing. Like, I go back now to Janet and listen to some of the things that I was listening to and bopping to when I was 7 years old, 8 years old, my favorite song when I was 10. And I'm like, I'm going through this. It feels like completely, it's like I'm hearing the song again for the first time. Emotionally, growth as far as the past 10 years, emotionally, I would say Kehlani's music probably. I saw us grow a lot emotionally together, from You Should Be Here to Blue Water Road. We don't really count Crash, but You Should Be Here to Blue Water Road. Like, that emotional growth, even with the spirituality thing and
Kehlani, I could definitely see being one of those.
Yeah.
Because she was like, what, 17 when You Should Be Here came out? 18?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
She was super young and super introspective at that time, but from a teenager's point of view. Yeah, her music has definitely been
she had to be older. She probably was
a roadmap of your 20s. I feel that way about Blonde as well. I think Blonde is the perfect album for somebody from 20 to 29. I think it really defines what your 20s are. I think SZA did a great job with Control that way.
Yeah.
SZA's one of those artists where it's like, if you're her age when that was happening, you connected to it on a whole different level because you were going through those exact same things.
Adele as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Adele names all her albums after her ages.
That's, yeah.
And yeah.
But I mean...
But she was a little bit
Adele,
more mature.
I was about to say, Adele was so much more mature at 21 than I ever was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate 21 more now that I'm 34 than what I would have when I was fucking 21.
To Maul's
Adele
point,
was way ahead of her time.
To Maul's point
way more mature.
Of saying like there wasn't an artist his age, it was always someone a little older. When Kanye first came out, because the theme of his thing was like school, even though he was significantly older than I was at the time, I still could see like the trio of those albums from graduation to late registration to, from college dropout to late registration to graduation. Like I could see what my life would look like in the lens of like the schooling and the skits and all those things. So that was always someone that carried through. Talk about experimenting. Obviously we know what he did with the albums that followed that, but I mean that eventually all went away, unfortunately. But
the one artist that I'm surprised his life, his like obviously new lifestyle and where he is now didn't translate into his music as great as I thought it would, because his story, what he's doing now in life is amazing, is Jeezy. I didn't think, like, he tried it, like, you know, a couple of songs we got, you know, I don't sell birds no more, sell houses and you know, shit like that, like fly shit. We knew Jeezy as a snowman, and now he has a you know, a big real estate company in Georgia. To me, personally, that's fly. For him to make that transition, be a great businessman, father now, things like that, to see him in that space in his life is amazing. But it didn't translate into the music as much as I thought it would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I, again, like but he was one of those ones when he dropped, everything he was saying and, you know, the pictures he was painting, the things he was giving us, it resonated with, like I said, he's from Atlanta, but everybody, you know, in New York that I knew that was in that lifestyle was like, yo, this is some of the most authentic shit we've ever heard when it comes to this type of lifestyle. But I love where he's at personally now. Like just seeing Jeezy now, you know, it's just like his growth as a person and, you know, just changing his look, you know, he wearing suits a lot and things like that and really doing real legit business and prospering in that field is amazing, but it didn't translate into the music as I thought.
I wish Nicki went that way too.
Generation thing that we were talking about, like Jeezy's from that generation where, he was doing that in his actual life, but probably in his brain was like, nobody wants to hear that shit on music. Yeah. Like they just want to hear TM 101. Like I'm gonna just do yesteryear raps of I don't do that anymore, but this is what I used to do type shit. But I think on the DJ Drama Jeezy tape that came out at the end of last year, or was it this year?
That was last year, I think.
I think it was definitely more on the mature side of talking about current things. I just think it takes people from your generation a little longer to get into that vulnerability bag with their music. Even if they're doing it in their own personal lives, they just think nobody wants to hear that shit.